Hello and welcome to that Peter Crouch podcast with me, Peter Crouch, the Friday edition. Regards to your families, Chris Stark and Steve Sidwell with me, as usual.
Regards to your family, mate. Regards to your family, Sid.
Yeah, with regards to everyone's family, it just seems to be the intro at the moment. More so, regards to Pete and his family. Pete, you're off tube today. You're not here. Whereabouts are you?
She's skiing, Sid, at the moment. Yeah, I had a beautiful background set up for you, but the producers have told me that I've got to shut the blinds, and unfortunately, you can't see that. But I've got a lovely mountain behind me. Me skiing is a sight to behold.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of want to see a video. There's a few things we need to catch up on with today's episode. What's really interesting me when you're not here, Crouchy, is it's a different dynamic where we are, because me and Sid's come meet up in the Chumber One bar. Obviously, you're abroad. It's interesting that Sid's has gone straight for the King's chair.
No. I need to. There's some context to this. I was told, "Do you want to sit in the throne today?" And I actually said, didn't I? I did say to the lads, "I can't do that."
Yeah.
And then they said, "Right, we'll get Chris to sit in it." I'll sit in it.
Yeah, it's bold. It's bold. It's a little bit unspoken today.
Do you feel, Chris, it was a slight power move from Sid's today? Just a little one.
I think so. And I wonder if this is similar to... Do you know who I always think of? You know when you see a van and there's 3 seats? I always think the one in the middle was a bit of a bitch.
Do you know what? There'll be people listening right now in a van, right? To either side, just have a look at the fella in the middle.
I always feel for that person, because I don't know if you travel to work in a van, right, and it's a 3-berth van, like a 3 formation. How you decide who goes in the middle, it must be a hierarchy thing.
Yeah.
Because the middle, you don't have anything, do you? You don't have any armrests. You're sort of just leaning off the other 2 people in there. And also, I guess sometimes they probably do it on a little rota system. So maybe on Monday, someone goes in the middle. But I think by and large, it tends to be a sort of front seat bitch.
It's got to be the apprentice, isn't it, that goes in the middle, surely?
You'd think so,
Yeah, it has to be, yeah.
And I don't want to do down that person. I don't want someone... to get bullied because of this situation. I think it's more, I just want to shine a light on that front seat runt, I just want to shine a light on that person who's in the middle, there, and just give a bit of solidarity, because that's how I'm feeling today.
Do you want to sit in here?
No.
You sure?
No.
You can. I'm more than happy to give it up. I don't care where I sit.
It's in Sid's brain now.
Listen,
it's really thrown him.
I'll sit on the floor. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, sit on the
I'm
floor.
all good.
Amazing.
This brings me right round to the league now, because I feel like, because Sid he's got a good lead. He's had a decent week again. I feel like if we get in his head around his chair, I think we could get into his head here.
Yeah.
Distractions. Look at you lot firing all sorts of distractions.
Sid's just sitting in the comfy chair, and I think it's all getting a bit... and you should never sit in the comfy chair,
Never
Sid.
sit in the comfy chair, no.
Never sit
but it is comfy, and I am top of the league at the moment. So
you are.
Okay, so it's worked out there. Chris, Sid, you got 3-pointer. You got a massive 3-pointer. It was the Leicester-Arsenal game. You had the 2-0. Huge 3-pointer. Yeah, and me and Chris got 2 points each for a correct result, but not a correct score. So the points, as it stands, are Sid's is out in front on 43. I'm on 41, and Chris has pulled it back to 39. So it's squeaky bum time.
it's tight. How are you feeling?
I feel good about it now, because I feel like that point difference is totally achievable. Yeah. At times in this, Crouchy went quite ahead at one point. So I think it's great that, your bum must be squeaking now, Peter.
It's really squeaking, yeah, because obviously when I gave it large about the dog fight, not looking down because you get your neck bit. And that's really come back to bite me, really.
Yeah. What I love about this league as well is people are really invested in it. Obviously, there's a forfeit to be had at the end of this, which is sort of on the horizon at the moment, but seems to be moving at pace towards us. One of us will be doing that. I feel like it's all to play for. I think this is a negligible gap between the two. You hit a 3-pointer, everything changes in this game. I was at the Natural History Museum this week because half term, and you got to find things to entertain the kids. And there was 2 different people who came up to me to talk about this particular league and forfeit. And what I feel really happy about at the moment is I feel, at least in my experience anyway, there's a lot of goodwill towards me in that most of the people want to see either you do it, Sids, but predominantly you, Crouchy, doing the forfeit this time. I feel it's the will of the people.
Yeah, I feel like I'm under a lot of pressure. There's a lot of scrutiny. There's a lot of people that want me to lose. I get that. I totally get it. But I feel like, obviously, I really don't want to. And, I think things change very quickly. And I think it's a very, very exciting league this year.
What were they saying to you, Chris, in terms of the forfeit? Did they have you throw any ideas or?
We do get a few ideas sent in, and it's probably a good conversation that we should, because I guess it's the guys behind the scenes here are sort of planning what that forfeit could be, and I've been told it's going to be bigger than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Whilst we're just on this topic, very quickly, I've got to give a shout. I can't remember his name. It's so annoying. There was a guy at the Natural History Museum who there's like a big long queue outside. It's down, I think it's called Exhibition Road, right? And I queued up with my kids, and they were like, "It's 2 hours, this queue." This lad from nowhere has come over to give regards to my family and all that. Regards to your families, he goes, "Do you know there's another entrance around the back that no one knows about?"
No way.
Mate, this is where this podcast comes into its own. Walks around the whole of the Natural History Museum. I walked with this fella right round to the side of the Natural History Museum. Sure enough, another entrance, and no one seems to know about it. All legit and everything. It's not some sort of special, it's just another entrance.
Was he at work? Did he work there, or was he just a normal?
He just seemed to have this unbelievable hack, which meant, go in, no queue. Honestly, Crouchy, it was unbelievable. And I just want to say, that is the power of this podcast, and I want to really galvanise people doing this more. If you sort of see a fellow podcast listener, impart some advice, give them a discount if you're serving them or what. No, I'm not talking about me here. I'm just talking about, we almost need a little badge, don't we, for everyone who listens to this podcast, just so you can sort of give a nod, nod. Give them a slightly cheaper MOT if needs be,
It's a great idea. A helping hand.
A helping hand.
There we are.
Yeah.
I'm so all for that completely. Like you're at the checkout or something like that, and you just say to the guy, regards to your families, he'll know straight away to help you out.
Do you think that's what it is? So we, obviously, people who listen to this podcast, do say this a lot now in regards to your families, and we get it when we're out and about. But try it in the wild, try it with people, just see if anyone picks up on it. And if someone says regards to your families and they're in your workplace, in whatever it is, do what you can. Just do what. I'm not saying it has to be a discount or anything, but just do what you can.
I'm just thinking, if you go into a restaurant, for instance, you got a table for two, so it's going to be a half an hour wait. You just go, regards to your families, though. And if they go, no worries, table for two, ready.
Let's get it going. Let's get this movement going.
This is what I'm saying. There's so much good that can be done from that. I experienced it. I really want everyone to experience it, and shout out to that legend for rescuing what was quite a bleak half-term situation.
Guys, just before we move on to the games, been inundated with guesses, because obviously we didn't reveal, there was a Valentine's 11 a while ago, and obviously we didn't reveal a couple of names because they were too vulgar, in my honest opinion. They were an absolute disgrace, although very, very, very funny. But obviously Javier was the one that we said, and one person, Sid, you brought this to my attention. One person got this right.
Yeah, it was after Javier Mascherano, wasn't it? And we've been inundated with people begging us to say what it was. But we're not that kind of pod. We don't stoop that low. As much as we'd love to.
Feels like it's too low even for us.
As much as we'd love to, we can't go that low. But yeah, looking at the comments, and I can't remember what socials it was on, or whether it was on YouTube, but someone has guessed it.
There's been some great guesses as well. There really has been some good guesses.
There really has been, yeah. But one person's got it right, have they?
Yeah, one person's got it right.
It's frustrating because I don't think we can reveal it, because the second one of us says it, that'll be the clip, and it'll be out of context, and no one needs
even
that.
I'm not going to go that low.
It's just a bit too much.
But if you do want a little game right now, the game is, you've got to think of a Valentine's 11. So it's a sort of play on a player's name, and the player is
Javier Mascherano.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, because I've only got the other thing in my head at the moment. I can't even remember the original name.
I think that was John. It was Fisher.
Ah, right. Yeah.
And it was an abbreviation of Fisher.
Okay, good. So yes,
let's clean that up.
we're so it feels like we're flying through the season. Points wise, I don't think this weekend a lot changed really. It didn't really feel like, aside from you did get the 3 points, then me and Crouchy sort of, as a point of view. What was quite nice about this is you only got 1 point extra from us. Yeah. That's the upshot of this weekend. So all to play for.
All to play for. I thought I was going to have a storming weekend, to be fair, with the early game and the 3 points there, but tough. They're tough ones to call. I've looked at the fixtures for the upcoming games, and they're even tougher. So, but yeah, you're right. There's no real damage there, but it could be a big point for me.
Yeah, well, it was similar to Liverpool. Big point from against Wolves. It was nerve-wracking for them at times. Everton was probably a big story. Obviously, Spurs, Manchester United. I don't think many people would have called Spurs to win, even though they were favourites. That could have gone either way, that game, but a massive win for Spurs. But interesting, and I think we should get on to this week's games then, because we've got some big ones.
Let's do it.
This part of the podcast is supported by Paddy Power. It's the big weekend fixture, and this is Manchester City versus Liverpool. Liverpool, as you would expect, are favourites, 23-20. Manchester City 15-8. A repeat of last meeting, which was 2-0 Liverpool, would be 12-1. Where do we see this one going, guys?
Oh, this is tight. Liverpool are undefeated in their last 5 Prem games. 3 wins, 2 draws. This fixture, it throws a few curveballs, doesn't it? Liverpool have won a couple. There's been a few draws as well in this. I think they've averaged just under 2.5 goals as well in this fixture. I think Liverpool probably got the stronger defence, but still would ship in maybe a goal, possibly, in this fixture. But yeah, it's a massive one, because Liverpool have got. Well, I mean, we're recording this before the Friday is released, and they're playing Liverpool tonight. Liverpool playing Aston Villa tonight.
And of course, Manchester City have got the Real Madrid game as well. So we don't have either of those scores because we are recording slightly earlier this week. But Marmoush got a hat-trick. We talked about him on this pod, saying he looked sharp as soon as he signed. It was a matter of time before he scored goals. Is that a big lift for them? They obviously got a win at the weekend. Can they do Liverpool damage? If anyone can, you would expect Manchester City could.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think it makes it. I think it makes this one very, very hard to predict. This is at the Etihad as well, isn't it?
This is at the Etihad. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Big result for City coming off the back of that 4-0. I didn't see a 4-0 win against Newcastle, I have to say. But once they get their noses in front and they're on full throttle, the game plays into their hands. But I mean, Liverpool. They've got a big 3 games coming up. They got Villa, Man City, and then another tough one after that. And I think if they get through them 3 games, I think an Arsenal maybe don't pick up points. I could probably say it's near enough done.
I think that's it, because Arsenal fans are looking. I think this is the week that Arsenal fans are really looking at this. It's so frustrating we haven't got the Villa result at the time of recording this, because I think that really sways for me what the prediction would be here. And it's interesting, like obviously as always, I've whacked it up on Instagram, do a few shout outs for people here. Seems to be a thing. People ask to be shouted out now.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, which
I desperation.
That's what I think. Johnny Sexton, great name. Johnny Sexton, he thinks it's going to be a Liverpool win, 3-1. We've got, let's look at some other names here. Alex Perry, Graham Barry, Jamie Spiller.
Oh.
Says, regards to your families, I think it'll be a Liverpool 2-0 win.
2-0, wow.
Stephen Birmingham, Tom Paul, Joe Flanagan. Loads of predictions here. I think most are kind of, but look, there's a little run of City predictions here. It's a really odd one, this one. It feels 50-50. Half are saying City win, half are saying Liverpool win. I don't know. That's why I think this result today would probably have a bearing on the prediction. But we haven't got it.
No. Who wants to kick us off?
I reckon whoever goes first, you can't go for their score.
Well, why is this a rule that's come in? You can't just...
I've just decided, because if I go first, I feel like you're almost hampered in some way a bit. And then if someone tries to take your score off you as well, I think it should be allowed.
Okay, but that's interesting because you're bringing whole new tactics into the game then, because assuming each one of us is going to go first on a different game, because we're going to do 3 games here, right? So assuming each one of us has an option to go first, then it starts becoming tactical about which game you're going to declare your score at first.
I don't mind going first every time, but you just can't take my score once I do it.
All right, then, go on. You go first then. Kick it off.
2-1 Liverpool.
I knew he was going to go
bastard.
2-1
That's
Liverpool. I knew it.
I'm tempted, for the sake of the game, to go the other way.
Okay.
I think, honestly, like, it's doable. Yikes, this is Man City, you know? Like, there's cat amongst the pigeons if they win.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I could see a City win. You can see a draw. Looking at the history of this game, there's been enough draws as well.
Draws another good shout.
There's been the last 5 Prem meetings, Man City 1 win, Liverpool 2 wins, 2 draws.
I'm going to go City win 2-1.
Oh, big.
I don't even want City to win, I don't think.
So you're going to go with a 2-1 win, but you don't want them to win?
I think I'm doing it just for... If there's going to be any game where I can get separation between Crouchy's predictions and my predictions with a team that aren't really an underdog, City aren't, you can't call them an underdog in this game, really.
Yeah.
Can you?
No, of course not.
I don't think you can.
They're at home.
So I think this is the best chance. It's rolling the dice. It's roulette, this.
Okay.
Imagine Crouchy's arse if this comes off.
I mean, he's done my heart is twitching already. It's not even Sunday.
So, Pete, you're going to go 2-1. Chris, you're going to go 2-1
City.
to the other way. Okay, I'm going to go. I was going to go for a draw and just it could be, but it's not really worked for me that when I've tried to be a bit different. So I'm going to go for a Liverpool win and I'm going to go 3-1.
3-1. Okay.
We also have Paddy's Boost Guides. We'll pick a leg of the Crouch Pod Bet Builder, and the odds on that will be boosted by 20% and put on the special section of the Paddy Power website now. So I'm going to go with a player to be carded, Alexis McAllister. He's got 10 yellows this season. Loves a yellow. Feel like that. That could be one.
Chris, what are you going to go for?
Okay, so player to score or assist. Should we go Mo Salah? There'll be a penalty in that game, won't there?
Rude not to, isn't it? Got to be.
Got
to be. Okay, I'm going to go for a player to be fouled 1 or more times. I'm going to go for Phil Foden. He's Man City's most fouled player of 26 times this season. So that's a good one as well.
Okay, odds are correct at time recording. Please gamble responsibly. Lads, we'll move on to another cracker here. Aston Villa versus Chelsea.
I'm actually covering this game. This is a 5:30 kickoff on Sky. It's a tough one because Villa are good at home. Chelsea have really dropped off. 3-0 to Brighton last week. They looked poor. They looked really poor. Someone that did have tickets for this, George, are you going to go up for this game? You got tickets? There we go. A Chelsea fan has sold his ticket to go to Villa Park. Can you believe that? So that just shows what the Chelsea faithful are saying. What's gone on with Chelsea at the moment? Because it's literally big. It's since he said we're not in a title challenge.
Yeah.
And then since then, just before Christmas, they have just dipped and gone.
Well, is there a problem in saying that? Because I think at one point, it felt like he was saying that and really they were in a challenge, but trying to almost play it down.
Yeah.
Is there something to be said for just, if you're in a situation where you're there or thereabouts in amongst it, is there something to be said for just going and at least publicly making out this wind in the sails and actually saying, no, we're going to go for it? Might be a season or 2 earlier.
Yeah.
Fine saying that if people are going to believe that. But actually just being proud and having that energy around it.
Yeah.
I do wonder what effect it has kind of publicly doing away with that a bit.
I think you're right. I think he was probably right in how he said it in terms of taking the pressure off this squad and team because they are the youngest in the Premier League. I think they averaged like the age of 23 every week. But I think if you would have said that in a dressing room when me and Crouchy was playing, with the likes of your John Terry's, Didier Drogba's, Frank Lampard's, I don't think it would have kind of gone down well then, if that makes sense. Yeah. But I look at this squad and the players, and I think, no, he was probably right to say it because they are early in their project, and they are a bit inexperienced and they are a bit naive. And I think that's what's come out especially in this run of form that they've been on. So they need to bounce back.
Said that they have got like amazing strength and depth, haven't they? I know they're young players, but they're still quality players, full of internationals. I think, with Man City falling off, it felt like they could have been the closest challengers at one stage. And then obviously Arsenal, City look like they're coming back into it. Aston Villa, Newcastle, teams around Bournemouth. It's slightly worrying times now for Chelsea. I still think they've got the quality to finish certainly in the top four. Worrying, and I worry for them going to Aston Villa because Villa at home are a fantastic side.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think the biggest sign is that when Cole Palmer comes off the boil a little bit, this is when you need like your Sancho, your Madueke, your Nkunku, your Jackson. Like they have to chip in. They have to step up and create chances or score goals. And that front line have really dipped off in form, and they've had a bit of a makeshift back four as well, but in general, that front line where you win games, that's where it's let them down for me. So I agree, Crouchy. I think this could be a struggle for them up at Villa. I'm going to go first on this. Is that all right? Do you want to go first? He's done a little laugh. Do you want to go first?
No, you go first.
Do you want to go first in this one, or do you want to go first in the next one?
Next one.
The way Sids is behaving in this chair is outrageous, to be fair, Chris.
It is. It's like a whole new guy. He's giving one show vibes today.
I did actually say to the lads, listen, can you make a reel and clip this all up so I can send this out?
This is his moment. This is his audition for the one show, isn't it?
I'm not speaking no more. You lot are killing me.
You go first, son. You go first.
Okay. I'm gonna go with a 2-0 Villa win. So Aston Villa 2, Chelsea 0.
Are you going Villa win as well, Crouchy? I assume.
I am going to go for a Villa win. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I like 2-0. I think that's good. For the sake of keeping competition and Crouchy's new rules today, I'm going to go, which is going to complicate things further down the line. There's going to be big arguments. I can foresee already. But maybe that's part of it. I'm going to go 2-1. 2-1 Villa.
I'm going to go 3-1 Villa.
That's a cracking game. I'd love that. Okay.
Another interesting week, lads. This is a great game. Newcastle versus Forest. Newcastle had a really disappointing loss to Manchester City. I thought that was kind of, I would take that in isolation, that game, personally, because I think Newcastle were brilliant this season. Isak, obviously, on absolute fire this year. Love watching Newcastle play, but again, Forest, exactly the same. I think they've been fantastic, only.
Yeah, I think this is both a reaction from last week because Forest lost to Fulham at Fulham. Yeah. Our man Chris Wood, he scored. Of course, great goal as well. Great goal. But yeah, I think this is going to be the one for who's going to bounce back and do a Chumbawamba better. Yeah, but yeah, Newcastle, tough place to go, St James's Park. So that could be the edge. That could be the edge. Newcastle being at home.
Yeah, home form is incredible.
Yeah, and defensively as well, they're very good.
Yeah. What you reckon, Crouchy?
What do I think about this game? I think I don't know. I think Newcastle just being at home might edge it here, but Forest love to soak it up. They're so good at just defending and sneaking goals. With Gibbs, White, Hudson-Odoi, the pace, Elanga. And Chris Wood's a man on fire. I just think defensively they're very good. So I don't think this will be a high-scoring game, personally.
What's the people saying, Chris?
I think most people are going a Newcastle win. But as you say, Crouchy, I sort of agree. I think this is low scoring. I'm so tempted to go 1-1.
Oh.
It is. I think it is good, but it's very hard to throw your weight on a 1-1 draw. It doesn't sound right.
Well, if you don't, I think I would jump on that if you don't.
Yeah.
But it's up to you.
it's whether Newcastle just sort of edge this. I agree with what you're saying, Crouchy. Forest are sort of brilliant at. I can see a 1-1, but does that do that game a disservice? Do you think? Because I'm genuinely excited about that game.
Yeah.
Go on. I'm going to go 1-1.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I'm going to go Newcastle 2-1.
Oh.
Doesn't leave you much, does it?
No, because I was going to go 1-0.
Were you?
Either way. And I don't like doing 1-0 because, as you know, if someone scores...
Yeah.
You can see it being a Forest 1-0. You can really see this being the Newcastle 1-0. Let's go 1-0 Newcastle.
Good luck, everyone, okay? We got some messages here, lads. I'll read the first one out. Hello, lads. Regards to the families. Listening to today's podcast. I'm on my Stag-Do next week in Prague. I'm slightly worried about the second day hangover. I feel a motivational message from Sids, the BBC, and Peter would pick the group up on the second day struggle. Let me know if you're willing. It's from Tom. Obviously, this is something we talked about last week. You just need that kind of character in the dressing room. Someone like Sids, really, just to pick you up, like stop slacking, you know what I mean? It's only day 2. We've got to go again. Pick yourselves up, put yourself down and go again.
Well, I think we should definitely do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is what we're doing now. This is a bit like Cameo, is it? We do a motivational message for someone in need of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. I like that. Well, we talked about this last week, didn't we? We talked about the second day hangover, and for me, it destroys me. Like you're both quite good on that front. And whether actually instead of investing money in a stripper like a lot of people do on Stag-Do's, why don't we say you want to book like a motivational speaker? You want someone that can get the table going, remind people why they're there, what they're aiming for.
Yep.
Who wants to deliver this then, Sids? Are you ready to go? Are you feeling primed?
Yeah, I'll go with something.
Who are you channeling here? Are you going Mourinho or?
I'm going pure notorious SID. I'm not rapping. I'm not rapping. We're just going to go inspirational.
Great.
Down the barrel. Boys, you've waited all this time for this day, this moment, this week. You've worked. You've got your money. You've saved up. You've gone out last night. Some of you have probably gone too hard, too heavy. But now you need to deliver. You need to stand up, get the shots, get the espresso martinis, get around. Because when we go in that bar, we're going to set fireworks off. Now listen, Black Hawk down, no one gets left behind. Okay, go out, steam it up, have a good one. And remember, we're here for day 3 as well. Let's go.
That was amazing.
Absolutely outrageous. Just to add to that, just a little bit as well. Just remember, doghouse.com will be open for when you get back.
Well, we need to talk about this, don't we? Because this has gone off. So we spoke about this on the podcast that we were talking about Moonpig, and we were saying that it wouldn't be amazing if they set up a section called Doghouse, and it's cards to send your loved one when you're in the doghouse. Our Ross here, who produces this podcast, was in the doghouse last week after he was. How did you put it, Crouchy? What was the phrase?
Tarkovski'd.
That was it, Tarkovsky.
Obviously, he's a big Everton fan, yeah. And obviously, Tarkovsky scored in the last minute. So unfortunately, Ross and his mate Jordan, who's an Evertonian as well, both got Tarkovsky.
Yeah, and Ross turned up at the podcast here, a bit worse for wear, in a bit of trouble as well. He was in the doghouse from over celebrating. But if you're able to go and buy a doghouse card, amazing, right? It's like a get out of jail free card, literally.
Yeah.
And we were saying, wouldn't it be great if it sort of incorporated football as well? And we've been getting lots of people sort of chiming in with ideas for what the cards could say on them.
I've come up with one.
Yeah?
Yeah. I was racking my brain and it just come to me. And I've got Southgate's not the one. You turn me on. Can I come home again?
Yeah, brilliant. Can I come home again?
Oh, wow. Yeah, we talked about Mourinho. I'm a huge fan of Mourinho, but you're my special one. Little ones like that. We've got loads of in the fire. We'll cut lots and we'll get them out there very soon.
Well, I thought of a 1966 inspired one.
Oh,
They think it's all over. It doesn't have to be. Question mark. The cards is great, and then we put up this clip on the socials of us discussing this. Did you see Moonpig fired straight in underneath? Words to the effect of, "I think you've sorted our new business model." How can you be a card company and not have thought of a doghouse section? How's this podcast been the one to come up with this?
To be fair, like if you are struggling for a business model, fire in an email, and we'll always be here to help turn your flailing company around.
We like to think of ourselves as almost business solutions here as well. We're quite broad as a podcast. You might have noticed.
Yeah, I'm trying to get across from entertainment, sport, financials, travel. Trying to get across the whole spectrum of genres.
If you do have a sort of suggestion for the card, like what we were just talking about there, then send us an email, peter.crouch@acast.com. Should we do another message?
Let's do it.
Got it, mate.
Good afternoon, Peter, Chris, and Sids. I've been a keen listener to the pod since it started and have often found myself getting funny stares from people when I suddenly burst out laughing, listening whilst out on a dog walk or in the gym. Whilst passing the pod onto my dad a few months back, he asked whether I still had my lucky Liverpool shirt. I must admit, I had almost forgotten all about it as it was initially bought as a birthday present just before the start of the 06-07 season. My dad had gifted me what every keen 12-year-old Liverpool fan would want, the new yellow away shirt. I remember that shirt. We lived in Spain at the time, and unfortunately our local English bar was very Arsenal heavy, teamed with lots of Costa del Sol holidaymakers. I was quickly given the nickname Little Crouch after bearing some physical resemblances to the incredible, handsome Peter Crouch himself. I am told even to this day that I do look a little like him. The owners of the bar decided to take my newfound nickname a little further. They managed to get their hands on my new yellow Liverpool strip and had the name L Crouch printed on the back, which I can't lie, I was absolutely chuffed with. As Crouchy will remember very well, later that season he scored the perfect hat-trick against their beloved Arsenal at Anfield. I remember that, which had me running around the bar with my bright coloured jersey on. I can still remember for weeks trying to recreate the touch, Cruyff turn onto the left and slotting it into the roof of the net for his third of the day. It was then I had decided that my shirt needed a number. My bright idea came after watching a Liverpool game a few weeks later, where I asked my dad, if Crouchy is number 15 and I am Little Crouch, could I have 7.5 put on the back of my shirt?
That's great.
After only finding the little beauty in my dad's garage last week, I had to write in immediately and enclose a picture. Keep up the good work on the pods, gents. Maybe if the next awards do need a mascot, who better than Little Crouch? All the best, Callum. I remember this jersey because I think 06-07 might have been my first or second season in the Prem, and I played against Crouchy and the yellow jersey. We've got a picture here. Look at that.
Yeah, but no, big fan of the shirt. Maybe he could be like a pod mascot one day. Like he could come down and just be. I could walk him into the Chumber One bar or something, and then he'd get off and watch the pod.
Yeah, I totally think we've got to make you meeting Little Crouch a thing.
Brilliant.
Sounds like it's where it's the natural conclusion to this.
Just to see anyone that kind of resembles Peter Crouch would be brilliant to see in the flesh.
Do you have the yellow shirt at home, Pete?
I do. Yeah, we could wear them both.
That would be good.
We've got to make this happen.
Maybe we do that.
Okay, Callum. This is Callum. We need to get in touch with, guys. So.
And I think Little Crouch, I think he's the kind of person, let's add him to a list of these pod characters that we got, because I think we're due another Samrat session soon. I think we should go back to the Samrat, have a curry, invite a few people along, that kind of thing. Might be good to bring Little Crouch along.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea. All right, well, stay tuned, Little Crouch. Okay, hey, Bonfire, BBQC, and Peter Crouchy. Regards to your families, I was just listening to the Friday pod about getting out of the doghouse and potential of Crouch's poetry. I think we may have stumbled across an amazing opportunity for this year's forfeit. How about the loser gets to partake in a live poetry reading workshop and read out some of their own unique poetry? And especially as it's Crouchy, at least one must be from his archive. What do you think? Fantastic. Also, watch the Leeds versus Sunderland game and learn not only do their stewards have different jobs, but they also now advertise. I saw one called a pitch runner, who I guess has to stop the invaders. But made me wonder, how many different stewards roles are there? Are there tests to move up? It's clear we need more knowledge in this area. Cheers, Liam from Amsterdam.
What a good question.
Great question. I think, look, on the poetry thing, I think that is a great forfeit idea. I would say it needs elevating slightly. So I think whoever loses, let's say we did the poem thing, you've got to do it, say, half time at a football match. Do you see what I mean? Read a poem.
I actually think
like that would be
that you have to have a microphone and you have to do it to your wife on the
Oh, that, by the way, and I don't want to, obviously proposing at your football club is an amazing idea, right? Lovely thing to do in theory. There's not, for me, I can't bear watching it. When I see a proposal's about to happen on the pitch, I have to leave, I have to go out, because you just know that the crowd are going to start up and you hear it coming, you don't know what you're doing, all of that sort of thing. It's just, I find it so hard. Fair play if you go and do it.
I think half time at a football stadium, and it doesn't actually really matter where it is, reading poetry at half time and getting absolute pelters from the crowd could be one of the finest.
I think, I'm just trying to literally visualize now that would be worse than doing it in a, where they take it really serious in like a small confined room that's quiet, because even though I think, in a stadium, we're gonna get abused.
You know what I was thinking about? When you go to a play and they do like Hamlet or Romeo and Juliet, they wear like little kind of crochet kind of things around maybe some little wigs, them little like culottes with the socks pulled up, like a real thespian. I think if you do that and read poetry at the football, that would be absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Okay, well that's one for the boys to mule over. Just going on this steward thing, that's a good question, this, isn't it? I wonder if there are tests or different levels of stewardship.
There's definitely different levels, isn't it? Because you see different coloured high vis, and also occasionally you'll spot a chief steward.
Yeah,
and I always think they must be the bollocks.
Just the pointer.
Oi, do you know that job there? When the stewards, this is another thing I've really noticed with the stewards. I can't take my eyes off them now that we've started talking. Right, my new favourite character that's been unlocked when I last went to Vicarage Road is not the steward that lies down like a seal, on a beach. It's the person, as they parade out, who points at the spot where they have to fall. And they put in no effort in it. They just flap a hand out like that. It's like, there. That person there, I love him.
Where does he go or her when they get to the end? Do they just stand like
I've never
at the corner flag?
I don't know.
Where do they
do they then sit down?
Yeah.
I think there's a tiny bit of disrespect in the way that they point as well. And they should do it with a bit more pizzazz.
Like a referee sort of giving a card or something.
Yeah. I actually think that they're probably tactical geniuses, because you know what I mean? Like, if you think about it, like Pep and Klopp, people like this, they're only dealing with, 11 players really in a formation. You've got, there's a guy there, he's dealing with possibly 100 stewards at one time, and he's placing them in a position that he thinks are going to be maximum opportunity. Do you know what I mean? He might need 3, you might need 6 kind of surrounding the away end, 10 around the away end.
You're so right, because they're clearly, his or her job is to read the crowd and assess the risk, because you're right. Otherwise, what they would do is surely they can come out and sit down themselves without being pointed at where to, because, you sort of stagger it every 5 meters or so. But actually, there must be a reason this person is there to kind of direct them. You're right, Crouchy.
I've got something. If this could come off, this would be brilliant. If anyone's going to the football this weekend, if they could film one of these guys or women, that do that and point, if we can put that to Michael Jackson music.
What song in particular?
Well, like any I don't know what song, a Jacko song that's got, when they're just doing it and they're like, if there's a steward listening and they might want to do some actions, if we can get some sort of Michael Jackson music over this, it could be brilliant.
What are you dreaming is?
No, I was just visualising.
Yeah, well, I like it. It's fucking random. But I like it. I think. Do you understand it, Crouchy?
No, but I'm all for it.
I'm all for it as well. Michael Jackson for no reason. Why Michael Jackson?
Well, I just think that it would be sort of like the music would be good over it if we could just put, not like in the stadium. Obviously, we'll put our own music
after it. Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah. I mean, if the stadium can play Michael Jackson music while they're doing it, even better. Okay. Anyway,
no, that's great. So, what? I don't know what that job is. I don't know if they're the chief steward, but when they're sort of flopping a hand out, kind of just there, like a factory.
Yeah, you might be Michael Jackson.
Yeah, so you want like Beat It, or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, well, get to work, people. Send it in, and let's just see how it looks.
This one show's going to my head.
Oh, superb. All right, we'll stay tuned for that. Lads, would you mind if I finish on a pub 11?
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a bit heavy with the start here. Dear Lanky, Streak of Piss, Barbecue C Plus and Sids. Yeah, then he says regards to your families. It's not quite how it works. Not quite how it works, is it? I'm going to read it anyway. In the boozer, celebrating my last day of work with some colleagues, we listen to the pod every Friday and Wednesday on the way to the site, and I've been inspired to make a pub 11. I wonder if he sits in the middle.
Yeah, let us know if you're the front seat runt. What's their name?
Matthew.
Matthew.
Okay, here's the 11. David Jameson. You've got Ben White Wine. John Sherry. Richard Dunn for the night. Gareth Ale. Angle Tia Maria. Whiskey Schneider. Steve Sipswell. On the Roque Santa Cruz. Dennis Carls Burkamp. Jimmy Floyd Hasselback for another. And the manager is Sam Miguel Arteta.
That's good.
Do you know what?
Good.
Matthew's got me thinking of a new game we could play on the podcast. I'll start it now, right? And then maybe we can do this another time. I'm going to give you 3 footballers. You've got to tell me which one would sit in the middle of a van.
You're going to give me 3 footballers. And we have to pick driver, window seat, middle.
Yeah. Okay. To kick this off, we haven't got a name for this game. We've thought of it almost seconds ago. Needs a name. Who's in the middle of the van, right? So we'll do a classic. Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, Paul Scholes.
Oh, that's out of order. That's out of order. That's over to you, Crouchy.
Well, Stevie's driving. Frank Lampard's window seat. Scholes is in the middle, unfortunately.
All right, we'll do one a week.
No, I've no idea why. That's how I'm seeing it.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, look forward to that one next week.
All right, we'll see you next week for more the 3 amigos in the van.
Yeah, that's it for that Stephen Sidwell podcast today. We'll be back.
No.